Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back, and I wanted to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So let's talk about that. And yeah, it was a great movie, I gotta say. So this video is going to have a non-spoiler section up front, and then I will give you warning and talk about spoilers. So be warned, once I get to that point, I'm going to tell you guys, and you can drop off from the video. So yeah, I went to see it yesterday at 3 o'clock. So the very first showing at my local Regal Cinema Theater here in Greenwood, Indiana, and the theater was packed. Not too many people in the lobby, but once I got into the theater, I got there a little bit early, and it was a full showing, which was great to see. The managers actually came through, making sure people had the right tickets and the right seats because they had a sold out show, which was awesome to see at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on a Thursday. So that shows you that if you make a good movie, people will come out to see it. It was a very good movie. It wasn't the best of all time. I don't want to give it that, but I will give it a solid, probably 9 out of 10. My personal opinion on it. So I did pick up some things there. They had the Spider-Man drink set. So we had the black and gold cup. So we got Spider-Man's head there, and then on this side of the cup, you've got Spider-Man swinging around in the black and gold costume, which is a pretty interesting. And we'll talk about the costume in depth at some point here. And then you got the bucket of popcorn. So there he is, kind of sitting there. And then the other side's got a different piece of artwork. And then it says, Spider-Man No Way Home. Right there, does the cup say? Yes, the cup also says Spider-Man No Way Home. I was going to say, does the cup say that? I couldn't remember if they did or not. So yeah, definitely cool and fun. I'm always a sucker for the popcorn and cup 2-pack at the movies. So, all right, let's talk about the movie itself. No spoiler section. So, it's one. It's a pretty good lengthy movie. It was about 2.5 hours. I went in at 3 o'clock and then walked out at 6 o'clock, and that was after the trailers. So it's a pretty beefy movie. Um, it definitely hits all the nostalgia keys, which is pretty awesome. So, we see in the trailers, we get the Lizard, we get Sandman, we get Doc Ock, we get the Green Goblin. So all these villains from the other universes coming in, and I will say that they are, I guess the best way to put it in Loki terms, they would be like a variant, right, of the other universes. They're the same character, but I don't think they quite are, and I'll talk more about that when we get into spoilers. But they're basically the same exact characters that we saw before. William Defoe did a phenomenal job. So did the actor that played Doc Ock. Electro was really cool. Jimmy Fox got a remarkable ability to come back and do the part better. So he was fantastic in it as well. Very cool. And I will say, since we see all the characters, um, they are all the original actors that played them, their respective roles. Even the Sandman and the Lizard, the same actors do the voices, but they're all CGI like you see in the trailer. So, but everybody is back, and everybody does a fantastic job villain wise. And I think that's because we've already seen these villains, and you don't have to put a lot of backstory in it. So, there's that point. It is very interesting. It's kind of a sad thing in the fact that we see in the trailers, Peter wants to go and save all these villains, and Doctor Strange is like, no. And he's kind of a little bit of a dick about that, but he's kind of a dick in the other movies too. And it's the same kind of point that in Infinity War, when he tells Tony Stark, if it comes between saving the time stone and you and the kid, I'll let you both die. He's got that same kind of mentality with these villains coming from different universes. So it's definitely interesting and fun. We get a lot of MJ in this movie. She's much more prominent, I think, in this than she has been, which is really good. The actress does a great job with it. Ned has a pretty good heavy hand in it as well. Again, he does a pretty good job. They act more like a team. There's a scene in the trailer where he's like, Scooby this up, and they really do kind of work together as a team, which is fantastic. And it's really about Peter finding himself in this movie, right? Is the best way I can say that. He is this is really starting him as Spider-Man. They didn't skip his origin, and the fact that these three movies were his origin to become Spider-Man is the best way that I can kind of explain that whole thing, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I think this one is a lot better. It's a lot stronger than Far From Home. That one was okay. This one's definitely a lot better than that one, and I'm gonna say I like this one better than I did Homecoming. Mainly, I think, because of all the fan service that this one has. So there's a lot of fan service, much like Ghostbusters Afterlife had, but more for this, the Spider-Man, Sony Spider-Man movies, which is fantastic. And they set this up as a almost a soft reboot for Spider-Man. They kind of set it up so that they can continue on with Spider-Man in or out of the Marvel universe. Like, he becomes a little bit more independent, but still could be in there, is the best way that I could, explain that, which is kind of nice. Because Tom Holland did sign up, I guess, for some more movies. However, they kind of walked it back a little bit. First, they said it was going to be Amy Pascal. She said it was going to be a new trilogy with Spider-Man, with Tom Holland leading. But then she walked it back. Personally, my bet is if they do a new trilogy, it's going to be a passing the torch with Tom Holland to Miles Morales, Spider-Man. That's my guess. Who knows if that's going to happen in the future? That doesn't come at all in any kind of explanations into this movie. I just side guess of the future of the characters. So yeah, let's take a look at some of these numbers though. These are fantastic. So box office wise, domestically, this movie made $50 million domestically. That's crazy, $50 million. The best opening on a Thursday, a sneak preview day that's been had. So that's fantastic. $50 million. Internationally, it has made an additional 43.6 million. So you're looking at 93 and a half, just north of 93 and a half million dollars on the preview day. So today is Friday. So that was for Thursday, the day I went. That's $93.6 million. I think that this is going to be the first movie of 2021 to hit $1 billion, and it's almost Christmas time. So that's kind of interesting. This shows you that people are not afraid of the goof if you give them a good movie to go out to. We've had really crappy movies this year. That's all it is. Black Widow was okay. I watched it on streaming. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I really did like Yelena. Shang-Chi, again, was kind of okay. I watched that one on streaming as well. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but, I wouldn't have wanted to spend, round up and spend about 30, 40 bucks at the movies to go see a film, because I buy a ticket and the popcorn and the Coke. So, 23 bucks plus $13, you're looking at 30 some dollars to go to a movie. I wouldn't have wanted to done that for Shang-Chi. Ghostbusters, yes, I went to the theater for, and then Spider-Man, yes, I went to the theater for. I missed a Venom. I did not get to see Venom yet. It's already out, so I'm just going to wait till it hits streaming as well. So I don't know. I've heard good and bad things on that one, but I can't really say anything because I haven't seen that movie. The Eternals, I totally skipped. It looks like garbage, and it sounds like it's, pushing diversity and agenda and crap. And this movie does not do any of that, which I love. It's got diversity. It's got inclusion, but they don't force it down your throat. And that's what a good movie makes. And Sony has done that twice this year and proved that it can be done and done well. Ghostbusters Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home both prove that. And look, the numbers are showing strong with it, with Ghostbusters Afterlife having good numbers too. So yeah, definitely interesting. So in the United Kingdom, this made just over $10 million yesterday, which is really, really good for the UK because it's kind of a small country, really. That's quite a bit. Mexico, it made over 9 million. And that kind of goes down from there. But again, we're looking at kind of smaller movie audience bases. Russia, 3.5 million. That's interesting. Finland, 431,860 in Finland. I don't know. Maybe they're just not big fans of Spider-Man in Finland. Don't really know. Has not opened in Australia yet. Doesn't open until the day after Christmas. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. Germany has not reported theirs in yet. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, all totals, pretty good numbers box office wise. So good for them. Good for them. And it's a fun movie for sure. Doctor Strange, not in it too terribly much. I mean, he's kind of the plot device. It does focus around Spider-Man and MJ and Ned, and going around trying to, catch the villains kind of thing. So very basic, fun kind of plot. Let's look at Rotten Tomatoes really quick. Pretty good stuff. Audience score 99% so far. I would agree with that. I am 2 hours 28 minutes. I was close. I said 2.5 hours. So 2 hours 28 minutes. So it's a pretty good lengthy movie, and it doesn't feel that long. It doesn't really drag much, but it does feel like a long movie. You're getting your ticket's worth. That's for sure. The critics, that surprises me. 94% critics. I mean, you got to take this with a grain of salt with Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, I mean that's all around pretty big stuff. And I think the big thing is Ghostbusters Afterlife did not get the critical because they were still pissed off about the whole ignoring the 2016 dumpster fire of Ghostbusters, that reboot that was god awful, and they died on that horse. So I don't know. This one they're on board with, probably because they're shilling for Disney and they want to keep getting all that Disney connectivity, because there is that connection to Disney through Sony with Spider-Man, right? So yeah, but all in all, interesting. Definitely, I vibe the audience score way more than I do the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. But overall, everybody seems to like it. So look at some of these reviews, comments down here. I mean, fresh. Here's a couple rottens. Let's see. Bilgi Ibiri. Don't know who that is. He is a top critic from The Vulture in New York Magazine. While the previous Holland films have been mediocre, modest ways, No Way Home feels downright aggressive in its mediocrity. Really? All right, whatever, man. I think they were fun. They've been fun. Audiences agree. Short on story, long on insider humor, this Spidey entry marks a sudden drop-off in quality. Raffer Guzman of Newsday. Short on story. I don't know what movie he fucking went to see, because this had lots of story. Long on inside humor. Yeah, Spider-Man. People who like Spider-Man, dude. What are you talking about? This guy, I don't know. What a chode. But yeah, look. A visual spectacle that doesn't stint on the excesses of CGI. While never forgetting the way to engage the audience. That's a very good point, is to make them care about the protagonists. Very good point, Andrea Chase, Killer Movie Reviews. The film is hilarious, amount of fun, it's unashamed fan service, and probably a smart Marvel reset after the muted and unfamiliar Eternals in Shang-Chi. Graham, I'm guessing that's pronounced right, Graham Tuckett of stuff.co.new Zealand. That is a great point. Nobody knew who the hell the Eternals were. Nobody cared. They try to make it this big diversity ball of crap. Nobody cared. They want a superhero movie. They know Spider-Man. They know all the other Spider-Man movies. They know all those villains. Same thing with Shang-Chi. Nobody knows that character. He's been a side character. Always has been a side character. So yeah, interesting. Let's look at audience reviews. Good special effects and tribute to all the Spider-Man characters by Karen. Everything I Needed and More by Nicholas. If you're a fan of all the Spider-Man movies, then you absolutely love this one. Being a Marvel fan, being a fan myself, I definitely enjoyed it. There's plenty of service, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In the end, the movie's a lot of fun. I agree. I totally agree with that. So as you can see, the fans are definitely digging it. I wonder if there's a fan that gives it a crap. Let's see, all full stars. I wouldn't give it full 5 stars. I would say maybe 4.5. An effing masterpiece. The movie's epic. Look, I mean, it's just stars. People are loving it, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So yeah, very cool, very fun. Again, it's really about Spider-Man, and she's trying to fix everything with the forget spell that we see in the trailer, and then he kind of screws it. Well, what this and this and this, and it all goes all warble, and then all the bad guys start flooding in, right? And we see that. So some things I will say that again that are not spoilers, some things to look out for. And you see this in one of the trailers. If you look at the back when they're up on the school roof talking, at the back there's some graffiti that says Ditko, who's one of the co-creators of Spider-Man, along with Stan Lee. And then the van, the Feast van, has got Ditko graffitied on it as well. So there's a box truck van that you see running around in the trailers. That also has the Ditko graffiti on it. So that's a nice nod to him. Keep an eye out for that. I did not see any homage to Stan Lee that I can remember. So they didn't have a CG Stan Lee anywhere in there walking around that I saw. I know in Venom, was it Venom Let There Be Carnage? There's a picture, and correct me if I'm wrong, he walks by a magazine rack with a picture of Stan Lee on it. I've been told, but I did not see anything like that in the movie. So if you see it, definitely come back and let us know. But yeah, overall, it's a lot of fun, and I think at that point, let's talk about spoilers. So from this point forward, if you do not want to be spoiled, stop watching this video and then go watch the movie and come back and watch so we can talk about the spoilers. So I'll wait. Okay, you've been warned. So spoiler time. Let's talk about, you've gone out, you've seen the movie, and the biggest one in is we've got all 3 Spider-Mans. So I will say that, so we'll start with that one out the gate, right? So having Garfield and Mcguire back was fantastic. When Garfield showed up in the theater, everybody went nuts in my movie theater. Like, everybody applauded, and it was like, woo, cheers, which was awesome. And then when Mcguire showed up, the same exact thing. So I had not seen that since, I think, I don't know what, Avengers Endgame or The Force Awakens, right? So those are the last times that I've seen people cheer in the audience, which was super fun. I think Andrew Garfield, this was his redemption movie. I think he got a little gypped as a Spider-Man, and I feel like he really came in and wanted to give that big goodbye to the fans that he didn't get to give in a third movie outing, and that was really nice. I mean, you could really feel him embracing this, and it was fantastic. Toby Mcguire, they had to drop some big bucks for him. He does a good job. He doesn't phone it in. And he's a little bit older, as we all are, and there's some good jokes with that in it. There's a great youth pastor joke in it. You know, are you got your suit with you? You're going to go to battle looking like a cool youth minister. He's like, yeah, I got the suit right here. Good things, good stuff. He's a little older, a little bit more beat down of a Spider-Man, you know, as we do in life, kind of thing. And you know, the scene, we get the pointing scene, like the meme where they're pointing at each other in the science lab. That was fantastic. And they kind of do it again a bit when they're fighting up around on the Statue of Liberty. I think that was really, really good. The whole idea of, you know, all of them coming together to kind of fight and taking care of, they get to tie up some of those, you know, loopholes, or not really loopholes, but the, you know, the storylines from their other movies. You know, Toby Mcguire Spider-Man gets to help Osborn, you know, Norman Osborn, where he couldn't in the first one, and then, you know, um, uh, Andrew Garfield gets to help his villains as well, and you know, and he gets to save. And I knew this was coming, seeing the trailers with MJ falling, and I knew it was going to be Andrew Garfield that was going to save her. Of course, Tom Holland Spider-Man tries to go, and he gets knocked off, and then Andrew Garfield gets to save her, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." And he like breaks down in tears because then, you know, the big scene where he couldn't save Gwen. You know, they talk about all the people that they lost, and you know, Gwen and Uncle Ben and all that, and we lose. And I knew this was coming because it was kind of hinted at. Um, and Marissa Tomei, I watched an interview with her, and she's like, "Yeah, nobody cares if I'm in the movies or not." Blah 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 blah. And she, you know, we lose Aunt May. She dies because of this movie, and she delivers the line, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and that really kind of sets Peter on his way to becoming his own Spider-Man. And I think that was really good. We don't have an Uncle Ben in this particular Spider-Verse, and so she drops the line that the Uncle Bens in the other movies dropped, and they even make mention of it. They say, you know, Uncle Ben said it in the other ones. They still never say if there's Uncle Ben or not. I was waiting. You know, they end at the cemetery, which much like some of the other Spider-Man movies, the ending in the cemeteries. And I was looking to see if there was an Uncle Ben headstone next to Aunt May's, but there wasn't. And they obscured her date of birth, and the death date. It just says 20, and then there's a flower covering it. So I'm thinking it said 2020, but they had to push the movie back, and they digitally altered it, so you didn't see 2020 on there. But yeah, totally good stuff, totally fun. The whole redemption arc with all the Spider-Man and the whole plot of the thing, you know, No Way Home. It's not about the villains not being able to get back. It's about Spider-Man not being able to go home because he sacrifices himself essentially by having everybody forget who he is, because the whole spell screwed up. Because he specifically says everybody who knew I was Spider-Man needs to still remember. So that means everybody across the multiverse, and that's where all these villains come in, and they're kind of time variants because they're a little off from what they were. Like Doc Ock, he's wearing a different outfit than, because they explain what they were doing before they came. And Doc Ock basically set up at the end of his movie just before he turned to a good guy. But he didn't have the outfit on that he had on, and he had a pair of sunglasses he did have in the previous movie, but they got destroyed by Aunt May when she hit him. So he's a bit of a variant, I think, personally. And you know, the same with the others. I think they're just variations of those movie characters. I think in the same way with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's, I think they're variations of those to take from Loki, which is fine, and that's all fine and good and everything. But there is a plot hole in it because all of them knew who Peter Parker was, except for Electro. I don't remember Electro ever finding out that Spider-Man was Peter Parker. So I don't know why he got pulled in. So that was, is what it is kind of thing. And then, the other one was Sandman. Really kind of wasn't villain, but he kind of turns on him, turns heel. But I guess he does that in a lot of stuff in the comics. So all in all, it was really fun. I loved the nanotech connection with Doc Ock, and then he syncs up to it, and that's how he stops Doc Ock. All that kind of good stuff. Lots of good jokes there. A lot of funny stuff. A lot of quipping between Jamie Foxx and the Sandman. They fell in that eels. I fell in a particle collider. Watch where you fall. Those kind of things. Dummy, the robot, is in Happy's apartment, which is fantastic from the Iron Man movies, and it knocks over the Lego Death Star. And then Jamie Foxx even makes a mention, right? He's like, "Are these your Legos? Is what's going on here?" And yeah, just all kinds of fun. I think they did a great job in getting the characters where they really needed to be. And by the end of the film, right, we set up so that he lets Mary Jane and Ned live their lives. They get to MIT, they're happy, and they're safe. And it sets it up so that everybody remembers Spider-Man, but nobody remembers Peter Parker. So all the events of Civil War and Infinity War and all that, all the heroes would remember Spider-Man, but they wouldn't remember Peter Parker, which is cool because at that point, if Sony and Marvel parts ways, then they can continue on with the Sony verse and not have any issues with the Marvel verse. And then if they do want to go continue with Marvel, they still can. It's just that nobody's going to know who Peter Parker is, right? So that I thought that was really smart. So kind of a nice soft reboot there. And at the end of the movie, he gets his crappy apartment. He finally moves out on his own, and he's living in New York, and he makes his own spider suit, which looks like it came right out of the comic books. Very shiny, very, very spandexy. And he goes swinging through New York at the end of the movie at Christmas time, which was very, very cool. And, it basically sets him up as a reset. And, I really like that. The whole web shooters was another good one I liked. They were like, wait a minute, it comes out of you? Like, with Toby Mcguire, and they're like, Tom Holland's like, does it come out anywhere else? And then the back jokes with Toby Mcguire were really, really good. Ned asking if, Spider-Man had best friends in the other universes, talking about, yeah, he died in my arms. It was really, really sad, which is funny because Ned in the comics at one point was the Hobgoblin. So very funny. And I'm glad William Dafoe, there was a nice mirror scene with William Dafoe leaving the mask and talking to it and breaking it, leaving it behind the dumpster. Very much like when Peter Parker left his Spider-Man suit when he gave up to be Spider-Man and left it in the dumpster as well. So that was kind of interesting to see that. So that was kind of cool. And then we've got our end credit and mid credit scene. So the end credit was what? It was the trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We'll talk about that here in a second. But it was the Venom scene at mid credits, where he's getting drunk in a bar. He's like, wait a minute, there's all kinds of superpowered people. There's a guy that flies around in a tin suit, and a guy that's super strong. And he's like, yeah, see the Hulk. And he's like, Venom's like, see, you thought Lethal Protector was a bad name. He's like, yeah, it still is. And he's getting drunk in a bar in Mexico the whole time that the movie's going on. He got drawn in. And why did he get drawn in? Well, I've seen the post-credit scene to Venom 2, and the Venom symbiote said that he was connected to a hive mind with all the other symbiotes across all the universes So he had to have been connected to the Venom from Spider-Man 3, which they name drop in the movie, where Toby Mcguire is like, yeah, I fought an alien that was made of black goop. And Tom Holland's like, oh, I fought an alien too, on Earth and in space, but he was purple, Thanos. And they're like, you've been to space? And poor Andrew Garfield's like, I fought a guy in a machine rhino suit. And yeah, the good stuff. And when Toby Mcguire was like, you're amazing with Andrew Garfield, he's just not feeling it. It's like, no, you're amazing. Say it, you're amazing. That was hilarious. But yeah, I kind of wish Venom was in the movie. In fact, I almost regret because they had 4 villains. They could have dropped 2 more and given us a Sinister Six. Like, I was expecting Venom to show up as a villain and then turn around and redeem himself at the end, much like Doc Ock does, where he's kind of playing the game and he is fixed and he does help them at the end. I was expecting that to be Venom, and then maybe throw in the Vulture, bring the Vulture back in, Michael Keaton. And that's a little disappointing we didn't get that, but it might have been too convoluted at that point. So I'm sure they're setting up another Sinister Six movie. So we shall see about that. And of course, when Venom goes back to his normal Venom universe, he leaves a little glob of the symbiote on the bar. So we know that there will be a Venom in the MCU Spider-Verse at some point coming around. So that's kind of fun. And then the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. It was a trailer at the end of the movie there. And of course we see Wanda. I was hoping to see Loki. We do not get Loki in it. We do get Wong and oh goodness, who's the guy that helped him from the Doctor Strange movie? I can't think of his name. Starts with an M. The guy that walks off and he's like, you've been messing with the laws of nature. The bill comes due. He comes back and he's in it and all that kind of stuff. I was hoping to see Loki. Maybe we will. I don't know. But yeah, so we do see the tentacle monster from What If, with the big eye. So that's in there. That's kind of cool. And then we see the Strange Supreme character from What If as well shows up, and basically tells us something like everything's gone off the rails or something. So good stuff. Very interesting. I can't wait to see more for that. And yeah, all in all, it was a fun movie. Definitely, probably my favorite of the year. I've only seen a few of them this year, 2 at the theater. And the 2 I did go to at the theater were absolutely fantastic. So if you've not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, go see that one as well. But yeah, there it is. Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely 2 thumbs up. And guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the alert so that you know when new videos come out. And if you want to, you can jump over to buy me a coffee, hit the link down below. I would appreciate that. It allows me to continue to make more content that you guys want to see. If there's any other movie that you'd like me to talk about, leave that comment down below. And as always, look for more videos in the future.